And what age were you again? You said sixth grade, I think, when you took this test.
These says, yeah. It's
Okay,
math and
so
reading.
up to then, were you in like slow classes or something, or
No,
your
God, no.
parents
I went
only?
to I went to a Catholic school, so they didn't have such a thing.
Oh, I see. So, so you just go to normal classes, and what was your social life like in school? How were you treated by
Um,
the other kids?
So up until middle school, it was okay. I mean, it was a really awkward. I wasn't like like I said, my mother, my adopted mother was really psychologically abusive, and I wasn't a lot of times I wasn't allowed to go out and play. I was in summertime. I had to be Teresa, our nanny. I had to be Teresa's helper. I had to do laundry and housework all day long during the summer, and so actually I didn't really have a social life, but I was very, very, very rambunctious, and I basically, that's a funny story. So Nazareth Academy was the school I went to, the Catholic school I went to growing up, and I got in trouble so much that they had to create an ISS. So ISS was created for me, and then at that point forward, all the kids would go into the ISS. So you know what ISS was, right?
No, what is that?
In school suspension.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Like where
so
you have to go to a separate place during your school work during your
it,
school time.
what
So I
kind of
that what?
what kind of what kind of issues were you causing that got the in-school
I was
suspension?
just talking a lot. Like that's all I did. All I did was talk and laugh
Okay,
and make noise, and like that was it. I didn't like ruin, well, I didn't do anything like that, but I was literally, that's all I did was talk and not turn in my homework, and I had a problem with homework, and
right. So would you be talking like while the teacher was teaching or something, and you
yeah.
just, or would you be like talking to the teacher, like trying to argue with them about what they're teaching you?
Oh, I argued all the time with my teachers. I mean, well, I'd be like, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. Like, for instance, no, that's not a good time. Um, but yeah, I mean, I wasn't disrespectful. Like, I wasn't abusive. I didn't cuss at them and all that kind of stuff. I didn't hit them or anything like that. Yes, I definitely was argumentative for sure.
So
And
you already had all this knowledge you've gained from previous past lives. It sounds like,
hmm,
and I'm guessing that when you went to school, they were telling you things that you know not to be true or somewhat incorrect. So you're trying to correct them from this knowledge that you're bringing with you from the past lives. Would that be a fair assessment?
well, so I wouldn't say, I wouldn't say that. So I would correct them because they were wrong. They were technically wrong. I mean, in
Yeah.
my head that I knew that professionally they were wrong. And actually, can I intervene real quick? And
Yes.
I want to give a statement. That's what I feel is really important. It's important to me.
Yes. Go ahead.
Regarding my past incarnations. So I don't know how you feel about God and all that, but about eons ago, God asked me to come down here to Earth and do what I do in the universe down here on Earth, because He was creating this Earth place. And so I said, "Okay, God, you're God. Of course I will." And so he assigned me to 77 lives, and he said Ashara, which is my name in the universe that he calls me when he's speaking to me professionally. He said, Ashara, every single time you are to go down in history, I don't want you coming around and pretending to be honest. You do your work there. And so my work, I'm known in the universe by everyone. I have multiple roles in the universe. And so I have gone down in history, all 73 lives that I've lived so far. And somebody said last night, made a comment that it was absolutely ridiculous, that they said you should just go with one famous past life, but you're to say all these famous past lives. He's like, that doesn't make any sense. And I said, whoa, dude, hold those horse reins. First of all, they're not famous. I wasn't famous. For the first time I was ever famous was when I was Albert, when we had media and all that. But I mean, even from when I was Buddha and because I was Buddha and I was Aristotle, and I was never famous until hundreds of years after the case. And so I was never famous. I don't call me famous. I mean, I'm talking to you, but I mean to the world. I mean, I went down in history because of the work that I did. But the work that I did was so significant. The things that I said, the spirit that I am, is so unique to this universe that you can't not notice me. And so and I do have so but because I, as a spirit, I come down here as a spirit and I repeat myself every single time. So I think it's actually more ridiculous. It would be more ridiculous for me to come down and I happen to pop upon being Albert Einstein. Like, you don't be Albert Einstein unless you've been all the people that have been before that. Like, the question you're asking me about if all the past lives are a preparation for this, for Albert Einstein, for damn sure. Like, I would not have been able to be Albert Einstein if I hadn't been all those other people. Like, for instance, I was plenty the younger. And I don't know if that's sort of kind of I would say it's one of my insignificant lives. I actually did run. I do remember the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. Thought that was a fun run from the lava. But yeah, so does that make any sense? That like I should have absolutely been famous in all the past lives that I lived in here as before Albert, or else I don't think anybody should believe me that I was Albert if I hadn't had that entity, that spirit that in me that can do those things. And so absolutely, don't you think that Albert Einstein would come here and do the same shit every single time before he came here?
Yeah, I understand.
I mean, it's not like a pop-up surprise. But that's very important for people to understand, because I do kind of understand that. Because I actually was when I first remembered that I was Albert, and then the second life that I remembered was Beethoven, and I was like, oh my God, there's no way that I was both Albert Einstein and Beethoven. There's no way. And I was going wild. I was going nuts. And I told somebody about that, and I was like, she's like, oh, there's no way you could be an Albert and Beethoven. I was like, yeah, I know. I was like, but I don't know. I know that I was Beethoven. I know that I was Albert Einstein, and my hair was the same in both lives. It's wild. Albert Einstein. I mean, Beethoven's hair is all wild. I mean,
yes.
And so, but yeah, so that does some. But as I progressed over the years, I did go into 6 years of solitude and silence. I devoted myself. I went to devotion, and I'm out of it now. But yeah, so it's just so that should make. I think there are people who can actually make that clearer for me and articulate it a lot better and maybe help me out with that. But yeah, that's the story on the wrap on that I felt was very important for me to figure out for everybody.